I remember the first time I saw the Icarus Uprising trailer on TV. That was like way back when I actually used to watch TV. Oh my goodness, it's been so long. I forget what channel it was on. I think it was like a commercial for like either like Nick Disney or Cartoon Network, one of those three. But when I saw the game, that was like when around the time in school I was taking history classes and we did like Greek mythology. So it was kind of cool to see like there was a game based around it on a character that I sort of kind of knew just because of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So I was like, hey, why not? I want to pick up this game when it come out. And that was during the time when I was a kid, so I barely got any games. But luckily, my mom had brought me this game from Walmart when it came out. It came in the box and everything with the kickstand. And ever since then, it's been one of my favorite 3DS games of all time, I gotta say. So Icarus Uprising is a third-person shooter, both on-rail shooter and like a third-person like action shooter as well. It's weird to explain Icarus Uprising because it's kind of its own thing, so to speak. And I feel like since I've been playing it since it came out and I'm recently playing through it again today, and I kind of played through it like every other year as well. So I think me having this retrospective sort of video on it is kind of warranted now. And let's take a look at Icarus Uprising on Nintendo 3DS. Like I mentioned before, Icarus Uprising is a third-person on-rail shooter akin to something like Sin and Punishment, I would say. The way this is kind of unique because the first section of every level, usually, I would say the 9% level, they will be on-rail shooter sort of thing. And then you can just move with the circle pad and you aim with the stylus for the game. We'll touch on like the controls a bit later. That's probably the lowest point of the game, I would say, is controls. Once you go over that, it's a really cool game. Even the visuals for the game, looking back at it now, it's not that bad of a looking game, honestly. If you have like a new 3DS XL preferably, and then you like have it, hopefully you have it modded, hey, overclock everything and have it run at the new 3DS speed all the time, it actually looks a lot better than I remember it looking like on the old 3DS, the first like the blue, black, and red model. And I feel like it would work really good nowadays, even as like a port, I would say. But hopefully they probably won't do that. I hope they do port this game, but they probably won't. And with the sound design, one thing that was really cool about the game, which I don't see games do too much, is that the whole game had commentary all the way through. It was either Pit, Palutena, whoever boss was on the level, whatever enemy, stuff like that. They were just always talking throughout the whole game. It was cool. That was like the first time I really saw something like that. The only time I like remember something like that was like maybe like a Deadpool game, the old Deadpool game, something like that. They had like bitter batter back and forth all the time, and it's kind of cool seeing it. This was my first like real time actually playing a game like that. They do fourth wall break, stuff like that. They would reference even other Nintendo properties as well. The writing was really creative.
You know, Kameidos look an awful lot like little Metroids.
No! Stop right there!
What's the matter? All I said was that Kameidos look like little Metro...
I can't hear you!
Hey, what's your problem?
This game universe and that game universe have nothing to do with each other. So don't go around spreading rumors.
What they did, you don't really see none of that nowadays, so to speak. You'll probably see it more like indie sort of games, but you know, not really first party games that nowadays. The soundtrack was really good, even for like, you know, being locked to 30s. It was so like more orchestrated music a lot of times as well. And that's why I really wish this game really needs to be put on different hardware. I know I'm like saying it like 3 times over, but this game on the Switch, even the Switch 2, like the mouse controls, I know it'd be kind of weird to play, but since we have like dual analog, it'd be a lot better now. So I do feel like that, you know, we need to port this game. This is a game I feel like everybody should at least play once. So when I first played this game, it came out around 2012. I believe I was like either 11 or 12 because I was born 2000. So it's either or depending on the month or whatever. But first, like I said, I first saw it on commercial on TV, whatever kid channel I was watching back then, and I really wanted to get into it because that was back during the time where the Percy Jackson movies were also playing on TV, which was kind of cool. So it was like this mythology just like pushed into my face when I was a kid, and I still have like a really high interest in it. It's kind of one of my favorite like history sort of topics as well. So I wanted that game when I was a kid. That was back when, you know, I had no money. Only way I could really get games if I traded in games and got the money for it, or I like try to save up some money. But back then I wasn't really good at saving money as a kid, like all of us were. We just blow it on anything that we want, and then that's the end of the day. But I did end up getting this game because of my mom. We was at Walmart. I still remember the same Walmart. The same Walmart is still there. We was in the game section. I actually could get it. That was back when I think the game was $40 MSRP back then, and that was a really high asking for my mom and everything. Well, I got lucky that day. The gods shined upon me. They was like, all right, so you could have a game. I was like, okay, cool. And that was back when it had like the cardboard box, everything. There was a kickstand that came in the game as well, because controlling the game, we'll get into that a little bit later, it kind of cramps your hands. Even to this day, I still like use a whole kickstand to play the game, because it is definitely strenuous on you. A lot of things I loved about the game, especially during that time period, that was when I was like, you know, pre-teens and whatnot. That was kind of when I stopped playing like the super, you know, not baby games, I would say, but like the simplistic Marios and stuff like that. That's the time I really got to more, not like adult-ish sort of games, but like more in-depth sort of games like Zelda, everything. So this was like a really good game for me to play as well. And that was like the first time I really like knew about Pit. And like I said, it was through Brawl and everything, but he finally got his own game. And that was also back during the time when they offered, if you register certain games on My Nintendo, you'll get Kid Icarus, the 3D Classics version of it, for free. So I did end up doing that as well, and I got Kid Icarus on 3D Classics. That game was brutal. I beat it. Don't know how to this day I beat it as a kid. That game was super duper hard. Oh man, it's nothing like Uprising. It's more so a little brief explanation of that game. It's more so you trying to go upwards, and there's like not like a side scroller, but it's kind of like a upward scroller. I don't know how to really explain that kind of genre game, but it's like going through. You get power ups going all the way up. You'll hit the boss, and then rinse and repeat, so you get to Medusa. And after that, you beat the game. And that's like the really short version of it. But you know, we're not talking about that game today. But get into the story. So the plot of the game is, it's been 25 years since the first game. I believe they don't really talk about the Game Boy game too much, so I don't really count that. But it was 25 years since the first game after you beat Medusa, and she's been resurrected and is attacking the overworld. I'm gonna call it overworld, the human world, whatever. I'm gonna call it overworld because it's underworld, overworld, and skyworld, kind of like that. So I'm referring to it as overworld. And she gets resurrected, resurrected, and attacking the overworld. Is up to Pit and Palpatine to stop her, as they do. You know, that's Pit's job, sort of, kind of. Don't know why it's only him every time when there's other Centurions, but you know, whatever. You run to us Centurions later, but it's like, that's not even, I can spoil it actually. So it turns out once you beat Medusa, it's not really Medusa that's like behind everything. It's Hades, which was, I love how Hades is written. He's written as like, I wouldn't say like, it's kind of like a sarcastic kind of guy, and his dialogue is probably the best in the game. He calls Pit Pity Pat, and he calls Palpatine Pray Palpatine every time, like every single time. It's so funny. And then it's a whole lot happens in the game. There's a lot of different plot points. There's the goddess of nature comes up as well. I'm on that chapter actually right now on my 3DS, which is like right here. Yeah. The goddess of nature come out as well, and she sees like, oh, the humans are going, like having a war happen because of a false Swiss seed sort of thing. Yada. She bombs the earth, and it's the whole thing. And then you gotta go through, defeat her, stop her, whatever. She's not a bad character, but her actions make her, a threat and whatnot. And then there's a whole another plot point which takes up, I think, like 4 chapters maybe. Nothing too crazy, but like an alien invasion happens, and everybody has to team up, both the underworld, the gods of nature, and Pit and Palpatine, to go against the alien invasion, because the aliens are trying to like just take over like the whole world. And like, that's kind of what everybody else is like. Palutena's like, no, I gotta protect the world, and Hades like, no, I'm supposed to conquer the world. And then Veridi, which is the god's nature, she's all like, no, he can't like roboticize the world or not. So that's a whole plot point. And it's a really good game. I don't want to spoil it, but you know, I kind of just did spoil it, but it's like what 10 years old, 13 years old, something like that now. So that's kind of your fault you didn't play it by now, to be honest. But another thing about the game, which I do want to get into, is the controls, which we should get into. So the control wise, you have to aim with the stylus, like I said, which would be your like reticle on your top screen, you aim on the bottom screen with your stylus. To move a circle pad, and then to shoot is the L button. Yeah, it's L button. That'd be kind of weird if it was R button, but yeah, L button. And if you're like a left-handed person, this game kind of sucks for you because it's really not made for left-handed people at all. One thing that I did want to try, which I haven't yet, but I do want to play it on a controller and have like the right stick be the aiming. I don't know how I'm gonna configure that. I want to have like the right stick be aim, and then you know you move, you still shoot the triggers and whatnot. I think that would work a lot because you don't really use the face buttons at all either. You can use the face buttons to aim your reticle, which is kind of weird. I don't really like doing it, but no, you know, I want to say this so people know. So this reputation with like Nintendo community, this game is seen as like one of the best Nintendo games ever made. Would I agree with that? Yeah. Like without shadow of doubt, I will agree this is probably one of the best Nintendo games ever. And I can't like it's something that I really go back to every time I pick up my 3DS. I feel like this is one of like the games you must have if you own a 3DS, or if you're like somebody interested in game 3DS as well, even in 2025. I feel like this game is still a must-have game. You don't gotta get it. Well, I'm not gonna tell you to get the game in certain ways, but you know there are other certain ways to get games nowadays. But this game is definitely still supported by the modder community as well. Not so to speak like mods for the game, but the application Pretendo, they do have a way you could play the game online still, which is super fun. You ever hop in Discord, you'll definitely find people to play with. I might play with you as well. You know, I might actually play on stream. You guys want to see me play the game on stream? We could play like the free for all and the light versus dark, which we'll touch on in a minute. Let me know, and you know, follow my Twitch, Nenscout Games on my shirt. I mean, I don't gotta see this. It's right there. There you go. Look, Nenscout Games. But with the multiplayer modes as well, let's touch on that. There's two modes. There's light versus dark, which is a 4-on-4 mode, and it's basically team deathmatch, so to speak. And once one team starts to lose a bit more, you can either get pit or dark pit on your team, which has it's like they take up your whole team health bar, and it's more so you have to protect your light or dark pit. And once they fall, it's kind of over like that. They take the most damage off of your overall team's health, so you want to, you know, try to protect them as well. But they're pretty powerful in their own right, so they can kind of be on their own, but it's not recommended, because once they fall, it's kind of game. And there's also a free for all, which is in the name, you know, free for all, right, for themselves. Try to rack up as much points and match as much kills, and you know, try to be like at least first, second, or third. The way they kind of make the multiplayer work is if you have a super powerful weapon going to multiplayer, once you die, you lose a lot of either your team gauge, or you're doing light versus dark. So that's kind of a caveat bringing like something super duper OP. And I don't know, I forgot how it works in free for all. I don't think it really matters too much. And free for, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Actually quote me on that. Let's I don't know. Somebody tell me if they remember. I don't remember how much it affects you in the free for all. I know free for all was like, you know, everything for yourself. So, and they didn't matter too much. But those modes are pretty cool. There's also another mode like the AR control, the little AR cards for 3DS. So that mode, I don't even have the cards anymore, so I could even like, you know, really explain it. It's just like you just watch them, the AR little figures battle. Nothing really too much to write home about. But this video is kind of like more of like not a PSA to play the game. It's kind of just like my experience playing the game personally as well. Nothing like a review, something like that. If I had to review it, it's definitely like a 9 out of 10 for me. The only thing holding the game back really is the controls, I would say. Shoot, there's not really much else to say, to be honest. It still has support. Everybody's still playing it. Even like people, even looking on Reddit and stuff, everybody wants like a port of the game or a sequel to the game as well, which I'm definitely all for if they do that. But hey, if you guys want to see me play the game on stream, please let me know. If you guys want to play me on stream as well, please let me know as well. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.